Welcome all to this new event, to the CX4 Games Summit, the CX4Good event. Welcome, Christopher. Nice to see you. How are you? Well, as you know, Christopher is the founder of the Customer Experience World Games, and we are going to start with some introduction from himself, and then we are going to have a really good speakers today. So first of all, we are going to be with Christopher, and then we are going to introduce Piotr from Poland, and we are going to be announcing the next speakers for this CX4Good event. So over to you, Christopher.
Thanks very much, Rodrigo. Well, thank you everybody for coming along. This is the second summit we've run. We didn't run one last year, but a few people said, please do another one. So we're doing that. And the purpose of this summit is to look at how CX really can make a positive social impact. We've been proving that through the World Games over the last 5 years, and I'm grateful to the 1,000 volunteers from the CX community who have joined us along the journey. Over those years, through encouragement from others, the games has evolved somewhat. So today you're going to hear some incredible stories from some of our partners in different parts of the world, as well as a couple of institutions who are serving the public and serving those in need, demonstrating how they've brought customer experience to make a better impact in terms of society. But what I want to do very quickly was just give you an update of where we are this year and what we're hoping to achieve, because it has moved on significantly, and we are looking for volunteers to put their hands up and say, hey, I wouldn't mind helping you out on the what we call the staff here, where we spend we volunteer our time and we organize the games behind the scenes. So the sort of things we've got coming this year, we have I can't believe I'm saying this, the 6th World Games is coming up this year, which is great. It's our global showcase piece, and hopefully we'll be helping different charities from around the world. As we've gone through the years, we've developed regional games so they can be played in local languages. And already we're on our third, this year will be our third Polish game. So Piotr is our host for that. He's a great kind of advocate and supporter of the World Games. And he'll tell you about what it means to play the games in Poland later. Along with that, we've got Matthias Gaddis, who's, again, be our third Latin games. And Matthias and Eileen Rosso will be talking about that games. But that's our third one we're running this year. Last year, we ran our first in-person event in Lithuania with the incredible Jatana and the team at Towards Customer. And again, we're doing that again this year. So that's now 3 different regional ones. On top of that, we're hoping to have a special games in Canada, and we're also hoping with one of our great friends, Michael Brandt, to run the DAC games as well. So lots of regional games going on. Plus, if that wasn't enough, we are also going to be hosting our first corporate games. So yes, we've had organizations approach us and say, can you bring this format into our organization and help us use our CSR time to contribute and help charities? And what happens with that is they give their time, their talent, and also generate some donations for the charities as well. So we're very excited about that new venture for the games. And also a personal area of real importance for me, we're going to be running our first student games. So it's going to be part of a master's degree later on this year. Again, in Lithuania, the incredible Professor Asta, and we're going to be working with students, teaching them how customer experience can be a force for good, which is very exciting as well. So always breaking new ground. It's very experimental. It's all volunteer-based, so it's great fun. And I really hope you enjoy the speakers today sharing with you just what can be achieved when you think about customer experience as a force for good. Rodrigo, that's me done. I'm looking forward to hearing the speakers now.
Thank you very much, Christopher. It was a really insightful, some minutes really insightful, and we are going to move.
Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything?
And I think the announcement of the date for this year, we are going to announce it at the end of the event, right?
Good.
Okay. So keep, or if you cannot keep all the session, you can see the recording after, and we will announce the dates for the global edition this year. So let me introduce Piotr, and thank you very much, Christopher. See you later. Welcome, Piotr. Nice to see you. Dzień dobry. So I think we are on time, and let me. It's over to you. If you well, you're the star, and you have the stage for yourself.
Yep. Being a star sounds like a challenging stuff, but thank you for that. Hello, my name is Piotr, and I have a pleasure to coordinate and to run customer experience World Games in Poland since 2023. In just to be 100% clear, it's me who is talking about this and presenting, but of course I'm not doing this alone. I'm working with a team of people who are supporting me with this event and this organization. And I want to give you just the brief perspective on what we already did in Poland and where we are in 2025 and what we are planning for 2025. And hopefully it will be valuable input to your games or to your plan of starting the games in your region or area. So in Poland, we started in 2023. It was the first edition at that time. And for the first edition, we got a lot of interest. I mean, we're really surprised. We started this event with this aim of doing something good. It was our main goal, but we did not expect that there would be such a huge response rate from the community in Poland, the customer experience, service design, and employee experience community. So for the first edition, we got almost 120 applications. Finally, there was around 90 people taking part in this first edition. So it was quite big event as for the first iteration. And also, as we were doing all the things for the first time in this context, we were learning on the go how to adapt to the situation and how to somehow serve 90 people who are working for 3 weeks in a row, and they have like multiple questions and multiple challenges along the way. But finally, we managed, and during this first edition, we were supporting 3 foundations. Our idea at the very beginning was that we will focus on the foundations who are supporting children, and we are keeping this idea for the first and the second edition. We are changing this for the third one. I will back to this point in a second. But for the first 2, we are supporting this kind of foundations. So during 2 editions, we supported 6 different foundations, and together with almost 140 or almost 150 people, because for the second edition we limited number of participants to 60 to have the better communication flow and everything. So after the success of the first edition, we decided that we'll limit this number of places, and also to give people more comfort of cooperation in a bit smaller teams, because in the first edition we created the teams composed of 10 people each, and it was too much. So for the second one, we decided that there should be not more than 7 people. 6 would be really 5-6 would be really great, 7 in maximum. And it was really a good decision in terms of flexibility of the teams and the comfort they have in working. Like less people, it's much more easy to set up meetings and to decide on things and so on. So this is it. So 2 editions, 6 foundations, 140 and 150 participants so far. And what was interesting that for the second edition, 45%, because we were counting this, 45% of the participants of the second edition were the same people who are taking part in the first. So somehow, but honestly by accident, we got this really good balance of fresh blood and old blood in the process. So it was really good for the second edition that we had this, because we have this fresh perspective, but also some participants who already took part. So they brought also a lot of valuable insights, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of proof of concept for those who are attending for the first time, that it's really worth spending those 3 weeks, because literally they were spending a huge amount of time during these 3 weeks of games in Poland, working on those assignments, and they were like kind of this proof that it's really a valuable experience. So for the first edition, what appeared to be a huge challenge for us and for the judges, finally, these teams in the first edition created almost 500 pages of PDFs with recommendations. And what was amazing from our perspective as organizers is that in 1 week, because they were like supporting one foundation during the given week, and then they were changing the topic. But within the 1 week, starting on Monday, ending on Friday, they were able to realize and to run almost full design process. The ones that, for example, me as a guy who is running a customer experience agency is taking, I don't know, weeks or months working with customers. They were doing all these things starting from the kickoff, through research, and through the whole discovery, through the analysis, through the customer journeys, through the workshops and recommendations in 1 week. So it was really kind of amazing. And they end up with 500 pages in total, all the teams of the recommendations. And it was huge. It was a way too much for us, a way too much for the judges. And what is most important, a way too much for the foundations, because it appeared that part of the foundations that we are supporting are not able to consume this material, because on one hand they don't have this level of knowledge to use this recommendation, but also they don't have resources to implement the recommendations based on the work that teams did. So for the second edition, we decided to, at least we try. We didn't succeed in 100%, but at least we try to limit a bit this creativity in terms of like creating huge documents. So we gave them some structure and some examples and some more limited structure for this final output. We limited number of pages, not so much, but at least a bit. And what we started to do, we also started to communicate to the foundations. And with the second edition, we started to do this after this experience from the first one, that foundations need to think also about resources, external or internal, that will support them in implementing those changes. So it somehow solved a bit this challenge in the second edition. So also what we did for both, I mean the first one and the second one, it was we did, for example, we prepared mural boards. It was mural boards for the teams with the design process they can follow, but we told them at the very beginning that if they don't have the experience, for example, they are entering the CX world and they are at the very beginning, so they don't know how to operate, so they can follow this process step by step. It was described step by step, but if they feel comfortable and they have experience, they can do this on their own. I mean, design the process, redesign the stages and so on, however they want, with the only regard that they need to end up with the concrete result by the end of the week. So they have this element from us. We also had a separate meetings for judges and separate meetings for team leads before games started in Poland. And it was really valuable. I mean, because we had the opportunity to explain them their role, our expectations. We had the opportunity to answer their questions. And also we had the opportunity to, in the context of the team leads, to explain them what are they going to do, and how they should somehow manage those teams they're going to work with. And the result of that was that those teams, because like this meeting with team leads were usually taking part 1 week before the game start. So the result was that team leads were meeting, or at least getting in touch with their teams even before the game started. So what we got in this way, I don't know which would be better in English. Anyway, what we got in this way was the situation where at the start day of the game, almost every team already had one meeting behind them with the team leader. So they saved some time in this way because they were able to start work immediately after the opening ceremony. So it was quite a good solution. And for now, just to sum up and to give the floor to other people, Now we are starting to work on the edition number 3, so this year's edition, and for that we are keeping for sure the limit of 60 participants. For sure we are keeping the meetings with the jury and team leads before. What we are going to change, we are going to differentiate foundations, so to make it a bit more interesting, because we had this feedback from users, because after each edition we had like the feedback questionnaire, and we analyzed this feedback with the team and also with Christopher. And we had this feedback that even the challenges were really interesting. They were quite similar, as the context of the foundations was similar. So for that reason, we decided that this year we are going to take 3 different foundations from completely different areas to give this a mix of perspective and mix of topics for the participants. And so this is one of the main changes for this year. And what I wanted to say more, I had one thought, but I lost it for now. So what we want to do besides of that, we want to involve people from past editions in the jury, to have also people with this perspective, because so far we are mainly inviting people from the side of my customers who are taking part in this as judges. For this year we are going to involve also people from past editions, at least 1 or 2, to have this perspective. And also we are thinking about involving at least weekly, 1 person per week, a different one from different foundations, to assess the topics also in the terms of feasibility from the perspective of foundations, because we want those things not only to create them but also to implement them at some point, or at least to give the things that can be implemented. So that's why we want to have also this perspective in the jury. So just to sum up, what I can say that in Poland we got really a huge response from the community. We had a really huge LinkedIn coverage in terms of post sharing and communication support and so on. We were really impressed, and it was a bit unexpected because we were not planning for that. And also we have some multimedia partners that are supporting us in this communication, but mainly it was done by participants who are sharing different communications that we are sending, and they were sharing their work, they were sharing their meetings, they were sharing everything about the customer experience war games. So we got really huge media coverage, like the social media coverage for the last 2 editions. Hopefully we'll be able to repeat it this year. So that's all from my side. I hope that this Polish perspective will be valuable for you, keeping fingers crossed for your editions, and hopefully we'll have a next opportunity to discuss best and worst practices for the organization. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Piotr. Let's jump to the next speakers. The next speakers are going to speak in English, but also they speak in Spanish. There are Matias and Eileen Rosso. They're an incredible team that are working in the CX4 Games Latin America. And if you're Spanish speakers, this video is going to be with subtitles after the event, so you can watch in the comfort of your language. So let me bring Mati and Eileen.
Hi, hello.
Welcome.
Hello,
Nice
Rodrigo.
to see you here. Thank you. Very good. Happy to be here with you.
Great.
Hello, Rodrigo. Hola, buenos días en español.
Buenos días para los hispanohablantes.
We shall begin. Can I share my screen? Is it possible?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Presentation mode.
Okay, so I believe now we are seeing my screen. So, well, hi all. My name is Matias Gada. I live in Buenos Aires, capital city from Argentina. And I've been working in corporations for about 20 years, running CX and improvement projects. And for the last 8 years, I'm part of the Blex team. That is, along with Ailu and the rest of the team, we are running the Latin version of the CX4 games for the last 2 years. So we are very proud of that. And in a couple of minutes, we are going to tell you much about that. So, Ailu, would you like to present yourself?
Sure, Mati, thank you. Well, hi everyone. I'm Aileen. You can call me Ailu, as Mati said. Joining from Buenos Aires, Argentina as well. For several years, I also worked in different companies in different positions related to process improvement and customer experience as Mati. And now I'm a CX consultant and also a teacher. And I'm collaborating with Blex and also with Lexden on different customer-centric projects. By the way, I met Christopher because of my participation in the first edition of the CX Latin Games. And well, I'm so grateful to work and to have great days with people and great professionals. And well, happy to be here today and share to you.
Okay, let's move forward. Some quick view of the journey so far. For the last 4 years, we've been we have participated in the CX World Games as captains or team members. That was in the 2021. I believe 1 year after the games began. And then the following year, we had the opportunity, along with Ailu, to see the games from inside, let's say, because as a judge or as a staff member at the CX World Game, we have the chance to really understand how was it run, what are the processes, what are the key practices. Piotr shared quite a lot of them in the previous chat. It was very interesting to learn about the Poland experience. And for the last 2 years, along with Lexden, that is obviously the founder of the CX World Games, working very close with Ailu, with Rodrigo, and of course with Christopher, we hosted the games for the Latin version. So if we talk about some numbers, for the last 2 years, we have running these games. We've got 6 NGOs from Spain, from Argentina, and from Colombia. We have the luck of having, I was hearing what Piotr said about the characteristics of the NGOs. We have the luck of having quite different approaches and quite different characteristics and environment for each one of them. So it was up to now very interesting, but I totally agree. It's a key aspect to try to have these different challenges from each one of the NGOs. So you have a more broad impact on each one of them. And also it's maybe more interesting for everyone, right? And also we have in total for the last 2 years, 8 captains leading great teams along, I would say, nearly each one of the main countries of the region. I'm talking about Latin America. We have captains and teams from Mexico, from Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, Venezuela, and I think we don't miss anyone. More than 120 team members. This is quite a challenge because also, as Peter mentioned, having a lot of people participating is quite a challenge, especially for the captains, right? Because you have nearly from, I would say, a range from 12 to 15 team members per each one of the teams. So leading and structuring the work of all the teams, having those number of members is quite a challenge. And finally, and last but not least, 12 judges. That is the backbone, we can say, of the games, because they are the ones that are the guards of the methodology and the structure and the delivery, deliverables quality check. And it's really a great and continuous improvement regarding how we do this approach with judges and from captains. I really agree with Piotr, having this initial meetings with each one of them in a separate way, just to check and to be available and to have all this equalization we can see about the methodology and the approach for the games.
Mati, I'd like to add on this point that, as Piotr said also, we never do this alone, and we work with a great team. Every time or in every edition, we learn a lot and we can improve a lot of things. And it's like the teams now know a lot about how to do this very well. So thanks in Rodrigo, all the team. I don't want to miss anybody, but Vicky, who was working a lot with the NGOs, Chechu. Well, we are a lot of people in Blex also, and thanks everyone for the great job.
Absolutely. Let's move to the next one.
Yeah. Well, here we have some of the voices of the participants, because thanks God we have a lot of great testimonials. But here we have some of them. In this case, they are Tatiana and Andres. They were two participants from the last edition, and also Vanessa, who was the captain of the winner team. And well, every time that we listen a person talking about CX games, they talk about things more than the solutions. I mean, they talk about connections, inspiration, personal transformation also, because maybe we are used to work into business environment. And once you open your eyes to these kind of experiences, then, well, you are like seeing more and more opportunities. And I know that there are a lot of people who now they are friends, and they created a really strong and really good relationship. So, well, here you have, and then you can read and see some different quotes from them. But the idea is that when they share something about their experiences, they talk about this, the possibility to help and support some NGOs to work with real things, real impact, and meet people, and well, about inspiration and personal transformation also. So thanks for everybody.
Okay, and why we do this? We say that it's more than just an event. As we told you, we have been participating and very happily involved for the last 4 years, and we expect to be involved much more years in the future. So maybe for 4 main reasons. First, the purpose, aligning professional skills with social good. We are working for, at the end of the day, to make an impact and to change people's lives through NGOs, or through the challenges that NGOs comes and share with us, and we structure them in the competition, and we finally get the deliverables that hopefully will be implemented in each one of them. So the purpose is the first main reason. Second, talking about community. We, as we share with you, with all the comments and the sharings and a lot of people participating in this, it's a big CX community with people with more or less experience. It doesn't matter, but they are interested in mainly collaborating through learning and support, because what is seen in each one of the teams is a lot of engagement, working late at night, the weekends, running and trying to get the best with a very little time. As Piotr said, in less than a week, they have to do a lot of things that maybe in a normal project would take weeks or months.
And also, Mati, without knowing the team, because when you work
Absolutely.
and in your regular work or your job, it's like, you know, people.
Absolutely.
And here is like, yeah, also a challenge.
It's an extra challenge. Of course, we say that in Argentina, we run 3 challenges, one for each NGO each year. So we usually say the first challenge is mainly knowing each other in the team and the skills and what role are going to play each one of the team members. So it takes one challenge to get organized, and then they really flow in the rest of the process. Then we have transformation. We suggest a systematic approach to solving human challenges. We say suggest, as Piotr shared, because we don't make it mandatory, but we suggest mainly quite a few tools to doing this. And if they have the confidence enough to I mean, talking about the teams, to do it their way, it's okay. So the last but not least important reason is impact, of course. We want to have tangible improvement, tangible impacts and results in people's lives, again, through the NGO's challenges. And it's very interesting, this last point, because Ailu is going to talk about something that actually happened after the games.
Yes,
so
please don't spoil, Mati.
Okay. Okay, so let's move.
Perfect. Well, let me tell you a true story. After the Latin 2023 edition of the CX Games, someone was watching the final presentation online. You know that every time or sometime we do these things that the teams can present and show their proposal. So, well, someone was watching that. He wasn't playing. He wasn't part of the staff, and he was simply listening and be curious. But what he saw moved him deeply, because besides being a spectator, he was also part of the board of La Huella. La Huella is the original name in Argentina, in Spanish. Maybe in English could be literally the footprint, but the meaning is more like, the translation could be the legacy, if you want. This is a center in Rafaela. Rafaela is a city in the province of Santa Fe, Argentina. And this center supports children and teenagers with different abilities. This person thought maybe something like this could help us too. So he reached out to someone he knew, in this case, Matias Natella. Matias was the captain of the CX squad, and shared the situation at La Huella, asking if there might be a way to apply the same kind of approach that they use into the games. Matias quickly brought the idea to the team, to the WhatsApp team, because every team has their own WhatsApp group, and they talk a lot into this channel, and said, what if we take this on together, obviously? The group said yes, and they created a new group on WhatsApp, and they started working on this. Using the same methodology from the CX4 games, they listened, they analyzed, and co-create some ideas together. They built a list of possible actions based on the real needs of La Huella, and La Huella chose the one that made the most sense for them. That was create and update in some way the website that they had. Finally, through another connection, Matias introduced a local engineer student from Rafaela to this project. And this student was so inspired by the project that he chose this project as the focus of his thesis. And today, the website is actually being built. So here's where the magic of CX4Good really happens. This happened, as Mati said, outside the CX World Games. There were no challenges, no deadlines, so important, but there were some deadlines, of course, not chassis, nobody watching, just a team who choose to keep going with this idea and support the La Huella Center. Because once the CX4Good is activated, we think it doesn't switch off. It becomes part of how we see the world. Finally, this story is not about a single project. It's about what happens when we share what we believe, what we feel, and what we do, because we never know who's watching and how far a moment of purpose can go. So for us, for Mati and me, and also I think for the Lexen team in general, and for everyone, Pieter, and the ones who will come in soon in this event, the CX4Good is a mindset. It's really about turning inspiration into action and action into change. So at the end, I want to send a big hug to Mati and Natella and all the people from the CX squad, because I know they are continuing doing some great things.
Okay. This is all for now. I'm going back to you, Rodrigo. I will stop sharing my screen. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mati, Ailu. This is an amazing time to hear from this. Sorry, I'm mixing between Spanish and English now, as always. But well, happy that you are here. We are having Latin edition this year, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes, well, that's something. If you're a Spanish speaker and you want to join, in the second half of the year there will be more information after the global edition. So that will be an amazing time. So you can join us if you played before, or you can invite others to join to the CX World Games Latin edition. Well, thank you very much, Mati. Thank you very much, Ailu.
Thank you, Rodrigo.
Hope to see you soon. And Ailu, well, see you later.
See you later, as every day. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Mati, Rodrigo, and everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Well, we're going to have the next speaker that is going to be Neil. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring some of the comments that the participants have been typing in the chat. Well, we have some good players from the past, from different editions, and this is nice to see you. Hello, Sandeep. Hello, Shivandi. And we are enjoying this. We have the champion also from CX World Games 2022, Santa. Nice to see you here. And give me 1 second. Where are the other comments that are coming? We have people from Buenos Aires. Hello, Mercedes. Nice to see you. And I think we have, well, there are too many participation in the chat. We cannot show every comment, but we are very happy that you are here. And let me introduce now the next speaker of this amazing event is Neil. He is the head of service ownership and strategy at in blood and transplant in the United Kingdom. And let me bring to him. Welcome, Neil. Thank you very much for being here with us. Nice to see you. A friend of the games. Okay, Neil. Well, you're the star as the so you have the ownership, you have the stakes for you. So let me go to the backstage.
Thank you. Thanks, Rodrigo. Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here. Very much appreciate the opportunity to come and speak about the work that we do at NHS Blood and Transplant. Always a pleasure to be involved with the CX4Good movement. I'm very fortunate in my role that the purpose that we have at NHS Blood and Transplant to save lives, to improve and save lives, we get to practice those principles pretty much every day. So we're very fortunate, and yeah, I've got a few examples that I hope people will find useful, and I'll run through the slides, and happy to take any questions at the end. So just try to.
Perfect. So let me see if you can share. Yes, you should be able to share, Neil.
Excellent. Bear with me 1 second.
For those that are listening to us, if you want to type in which edition did you participate, and we are going to be happy to read to you.
Just to double check that you can see that, Rodrigo.
Yes. Let me bring it. I think it's in the presentation. It's already the slides. Only it's not on the presentation mode. I'm not sure if you have the possibility, or it gives you the option.
I'm on presentation mode at my end. Apologies.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Is that okay? Hopefully, it may just be a time lapse. Hopefully, that will catch up. But yeah, hopefully people can see that.
Can see it. Yes. Yeah, no
Excellent.
problem.
Thank you. So just a very quick introduction to myself, professionally and personally. So yeah, as I covered, my name Neil Greenwood. Currently head of service ownership and strategy at NHS Blood and Transplant. But to the left of the screen there, a little bit of a history of some of my professional career. So spent a long time in the insurance sector here in the UK with brands like Privilege, Direct Line, Churchill and Green Flag. Latterly, that became Royal Bank of Scotland and Direct Line Group. Then moved on, staying in financial services to work in the banking sector with the Yorkshire Building Society, covering brands like Accord Mortgages as well. Moved to NHS Blood and Transplant 3 years ago. And that was a really nice marriage for me personally, because I'd been a blood donor for about 20 years prior to joining. So it really brought together a cause that I felt strongly about, and my professional skills and experience as well. So I am, as the slide says, an A positive blood donor myself. Pleased to say that 75 is now turned into 100. So I have just passed the 100 donation credit mark. And I also am registered on the organ donation register as well. So a little bit about NHS Blood and Transplant and perhaps the size of the operation that we run. As I mentioned when I first joined, our ambition as an organisation is to save and improve even more lives, building a world where every patient receives the donation that they need. So as an arm's length body of the government here in the United Kingdom, our job really is very much a supplier relationship with the NHS. So we provide products mainly in the form of blood, but also platelets, plasma, organs, stem cells into the NHS to support patients as and when they need them. And it's a fairly large operation, as you can see from some of the numbers on screen here. So across a 12-month period, we collect around about just shy of 1.5 million units of blood, with 250,000 units of platelets and around about 200,000 units of plasma as well. Just really quickly to touch on plasma, in the last couple of months actually, since we started to collect plasma, it's the first time in a generation that people within the UK are now actually receiving medicine created from UK plasma donations. Up to that point, that plasma was brought in from other countries. So a real milestone for us as an organisation. From an organ perspective, around about 1,500 organ donors per year, with a further 1,000 making living donations. And the sort of size of the operation, we have around about 27, but that's growing all the time. 27 mainly city centre locations that are static, that we own, and that we collect around about 25% of our blood from. And then blood donation, a lot of people associate with kind of the village halls, the school halls, and we still collect the vast majority of our donations through our mobile teams, around about 75% of those that travel around a local area to conduct donation sessions. So why is engaging donors critical for us? Why is customer experience critical for us as an organisation? Some of these statistics on this page start to bring that to life. So here in the UK, only around about 2% of the eligible population actually regularly donate blood, which is a startlingly low figure. And that 2% donate at an average frequency of around 1.8 times per year. There are some complexities with giving blood. So when we lay across the complexity of different blood types, that becomes even more challenging for us. So many people may know the O negative blood group as the universal blood type, and that's the type of blood that anybody can receive. So when we think about paramedics and ambulances, that's the type of blood that they would carry for really severe events where there really is limited time to test blood. 9% of the entire blood donor base have that O negative universal blood type, yet 14% of the requests that we get from hospitals for blood are of that blood type. So you can see the mismatch there and the difficulties in not only providing great customer experience, but actually balancing the needs and requirements of our donors and our patients within that. Furthermore, there are a number of factors that mean that you may not be able to actually donate on the day. The most frequent one of those is low iron levels. So because we are removing blood from the system, iron levels have to be at a certain level to be able to accommodate that. And around about 12% of people won't be able to donate on the day because of either iron or perhaps because they've been travelling to a place where there are certain diseases that mean that there has to be a deferral period. And then finally, on here, we talk about donors of Black heritage. So ethnicity becomes a really important factor for us as well, because donors of Black heritage are 10 times more likely to have the rare RO blood type. And that's the blood type that would be required for accurate matches to treat diseases such as sickle cell. And the demand for RO is increasing by around about 10 to 15% per year. So again, you can see the mismatch and some of the challenges that we've got and why for us engaging donors is absolutely critical. So in terms of creating value from the donor experience, bringing my own experience from private sector into the public sector, I often get asked about what the differences are, and my response to that is usually that there aren't many differences, that the fundamental CX principles are still the same. Understanding donor needs, looking at end-to-end journeys, all those things still have a place. It's really just magnified more when your customer, or in our case, our donor, is a volunteer. So this is not a service that somebody's paying for. This is something that somebody's volunteering their own time and to a certain degree money. With traveling to donate. That there is a commitment that donors make. So it just magnifies it even more for us. In terms of value, to us, that means return business and return people coming back and creating long-term loyalty. Those people who perhaps sign up as a freshers event at university and stay lifelong donors throughout their entire lives. For some people, that's not possible, so there's always a requirement for us to be bringing new donors into the organisation. A single blood donation can save and improve up to 3 lives. That's a really stark fact. And that just re-emphasises the purpose that we're here for. So I'm going to run through 3 quick examples, slightly different channels, but across our donor journey, as to how we actually bring some of that CX to life within NHS blood and transplant. So firstly, I've chosen an example from what we would call our pre-donation part of the journey. So prior to actually coming in to donate your blood, there is an entire onboarding process. There are various elements that you have to provide to us, and of course you then have to book an appointment, which is possible through our Give Blood app or online. And one of the elements that we promote to try to create that win-win engaging moment is what we call a check you can give tool. So I've already mentioned in the previous slide that it's there's a 12% chance that somebody won't be able to donate. And while some of that in terms of iron levels is quite challenging to identify up front, there are many factors that we can identify up front. And when I talk about a win-win, what that means for us is that as an organisation, we get more donors arriving at donation sessions able to donate, but actually the customers and donors don't have that wasted journey. So it is possible to find those win-wins in donor journeys, in customer journeys, and this is one way that we do it. So we send out via the app and via email linked to the app a series of really simple questions. This is a live screenshot that you can see. Taken as an example, the piercing and any cosmetic treatments. If you were to answer yes to that, then in the last 4 months, you would have a deferral period.
Neil, just one question, because I think we don't see the slide that is moving. We just see the second slide.
My apologies. Let me stop sharing. Thank you
okay.
for letting me know, Rodrigo. Let me stop sharing and see if that I can reshare again.
We are having some technical issues, but we are coming back to you, dear CX4Good community. Let's see if it works.
Do you see the slide there talking about pre-donation?
Yes, now we can see it. And if you want to move or to the next or to a previous, only to check if it moves already. Yes, already.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. My apologies. I wasn't aware you were with me. So hopefully this makes a little bit more sense for you now that you can see it. So I think this is where I was up to in terms of the check you can give notification that we would send out ahead. And as you can see here, a series of really simple questions. But if any of those are responded to in a certain way, then what that means is that we can advise the customer, the donor, in the most appropriate way, prevent them from necessarily having a wasted journey at that point, but also from an organisational perspective mean that more people are able to donate when they arrive in. So a really simple example, but one in the digital channel in the early stages of the journey that we can implement. I now move on for the next example into the physical experience, and for ourselves. This is an integral part of the journey, so we have to have that face-to-face touch point in order to be able to collect the blood or whichever product it is. Unlike perhaps when I was working in financial services, the trend was to try and move most things down a digital route. This is still a really critical part for us. So the experience that people have when they come into a blood donation centre, we know is one of the most impactful touch points that they will have across the entire journey, and which will then increase their overall satisfaction. So a really critical point for us. We've recently opened a new centre in Brixton, and we have some really specific reasons to go into Brixton, many of which I've spoken about on previous slides around attracting certain demographics, and specifically in this instance, attracting people of a Black heritage. And we adopted a very new approach to that in Brixton than we've done before. So our donation centres previously have been quite clinical settings, and there is still a requirement for that. But we really tried to flip it on its head and look to design the entire process based on those donor needs. As you can see at the top here, some of that revolves around centre design, and I'll share some photos in a second. But actually, it had a whole range of elements across the entire donor journey. So, yes, centre design was more appealing, something that would resonate with those target donors. But actually, we've made sure that we've reflected our staffing in that centre to be representative of local donors as well. We didn't stop there. We now have facilities at that centre, so meeting rooms and training rooms that community groups from the Brixton area use. So really building relationships, embedding ourselves in the community, and ultimately both sides of the party benefiting from that. Our marketing in building up to the opening of the event, we overtook the entirety of Brixton Tube Station, hence the reference to the tube in the middle. And we also have looked at opening hours, engaged with local people, local donors around their habits, their day-to-day movements. Brixton is a place that people do move in and out of, so we've adjusted our opening times appropriately. And finally, one that went down really well is that we've provided a broader range of options at the end of the donation session. So blood donation is often synonymous with the cup of tea and the biscuit that you get at the end of the donation. And what we've done in Brixton is partnered with a food provider from the local Brixton market, who provides some fantastic treats for people in the form of, I think we've got banana loaf and Jamaican rum cake in there at the moment. So really trying to personalise the experience that people get, so that they really feel at home, they feel that it's their centre, and that they then come back for a second, third and fourth donation. And I'll just share some of the pictures of our new donation centre there. So much more perhaps homely and welcoming than the clinical settings that we've been used to. On the left-hand side there, that was an artwork that was commissioned from a local Brixton artist from Kanji Studios. And Rizzy, the artist, actually is a sickle cell sufferer himself, and that's presented beautifully in the window at Brixton. So just another example of how we partner there and how we've thought about the needs of the donor throughout. As you can see, the centre itself is quite vibrant and quite colourful to reflect the vibrancy of the local area. And you may not be able to see those names, but above the doors on the middle image there, they're all really well-known place names within Brixton. So places like Electric Avenue, people might be familiar with. So each of our consultation rooms has a local feel to it as well. And then moving on to the final slide, in the bottom left, you can see some slivers of the banana loaf and the Jamaican rum cake. But the one that's gone down really well is the Giving Types of Brixton blood drop wall. So at the end of each donation, we're really mindful that this is all donor journeys, all customer journeys to a certain extent are emotional, and anybody who's conducted any kind of customer journey mapping will no doubt have mapped emotions. And what we tried to do here was really seize the moment when that emotion is at its peak, after somebody's donated, after somebody's feeling really good about themselves, and give them an opportunity with a blood drop shaped sticker that represents their blood type, just to write a little bit of a note on there to talk about their own personal reasons for donating. And that will be a living, breathing artwork essentially that will grow and reflect Brixton and the donors and the customers that we're trying to serve. You may not be able to read the middle one there, but it's a beautiful one. I could literally have taken a photo of any of these, but what it says there is that I give blood in memory of Claire, who always helped everyone she could. And that sentiment it perfectly encapsulates everything that we try to do with our donor journeys. And then a really quick example from after. So we've got somebody booked in, we've given a donation, hopefully provided an experience that meets the needs of the donors there. It's about then for us reinforcing those motivations afterwards. And what you can see here is a link to actually my last donation, where it's a very simple API from our systems into Google Maps. And what we do around about a week after somebody's donated, we will have done what's called issue that donation to a particular hospital. And this is a touch point that's really well received by our donors. And what we're able to do is to demonstrate on a simple map where the donation took place, the journey that it's taken to the testing facility, and then after that testing facility, where that's gone off to. And I've seen lots of examples of donors who retain all of this information and take great pride in presenting that in a way that says, here's all the different places that people have gone to. Something actually we're looking to implement in the future is kind of an annual review or a holistic donation review, so that people do have that information available. But again, seeking to add that value and drive the motivational side of this, in that people are doing an altruistic act here. We understand that. We understand the needs and motivations. And if we can reinforce that at the end of the process and the end of the journey, to show people exactly what their time and effort has gone into, then it just reinforces that purpose. We hope that serves to provide them with valuable information. But as you can see there on the left-hand side, we have a button within that email chain for them to book their next appointment as well. So hopefully, again, another good example of the win-win situation. So in conclusion, some kind of key points that I pull out for people is to kind of understand what value is for you. I think sometimes we perhaps don't do that and don't spend enough time doing that, and it's a really critical element of actually then designing journeys. So if you understand what value is to you in your setting, ours is return donations. In others, that could be easily applicable into a sales environment, for example. But spending that time will really give a crystal clear thought process into where the journeys should then be designed and what the critical points and touch points should be. Know your target audience and understand their motivations and needs. I've spoken throughout the three examples about trying to meet specific donor needs, and that might be general donor needs in terms of the entire donor base, or specific donor needs of geographical or demographic groups within that larger pool. Understanding those motivations and needs is absolutely critical, and then design your journeys to meet those needs, and the value will then flow off the back of that. We've talked about the strength of the key emotional touch points as well. We're really fortunate in that regard that the journeys that we deal with on a day-to-day basis are all incredibly emotional, are all incredibly emotive. So we've got a plethora of different ways to do that. I appreciate not every industry will be the same, but there will be an emotional journey that accompanies any customer. So understanding that will also give some opportunity to understand actually where are the bits that need to be lifted and elevated, and where are the real opportunities for you within that donor journey to engage your customer. And then operating the right channels. So what I've also done is demonstrated across a few different channels as to where those interactions most suitably sit, and hopefully creating that win-win situation for people. I've just at the end there unashamedly put a little bit of a link to anybody within the UK who would like to become a blood donor can do so by visiting blood.co.uk. And similarly, if you would like to register your organ donation decision, I'd very much encourage you to do so at organdonation.nhs.uk. And critically, after registering that decision, do also then share your thoughts and have that conversation with your loved ones as well. But that brings my presentation to a conclusion. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope that was really useful, and happy to take any questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Neil. Let's see if there is some question. There is one question actually. Well, one comment. I never tired in hearing the way in which Neil Greenwood applies CX to deliver social impact. Well, thank you for sharing the National Health Service flood and transparent story, Neil. And if you don't donate, please do. Well, especially if you are in the UK, well, you can contact Neil, or you can visit the website that we are going to write down. And if you are not in the United Kingdom, well, please donate also. There should be in different locations different ways of doing, right?
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you very much for sharing with this information with us, and well, looking forward to see you soon, because you always has been a really close friend from the game. So we will see you soon.
Thanks very much, Rodrigo. Thanks everybody for your time, and yeah, best of luck with the CX4Good event.
Thank you very much, Neil. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Okay, so where we are right now, we're on a schedule. The next speaker is going to be Benson. He has been since the beginning in this customer experience world games, and then we're going to have Laura, the head of customer experience at the RSPCA from United Kingdom, and finally we're going to have Gitana from sharing the experience from the Customer Experience World Games in person, the first in-person edition that took place in Lithuania. So at this moment, let me bring Benson to the stage so he can share with us. Hello, Benson. Well, Benson is a professional with more than 20 years of experience, and he has been in the customer experience world games in the last five years, I think. So, well, we're going to ask him how has been this journey as a player. So, Benson, you as a part of the customer experience world games, what sparked your passion to join as a player back?
Thank you, Rod. Greetings, everyone. I'm glad that you have given me this chance to be on this platform. It has been amazing. I was driven to the customer experience world games because I believe customer experience has the power to transform business. It has got the power to transform lives. In doing that, I was being guided as a CMI chartered manager. I was being guided by my code of conduct. It has got a number of principles that I adopted, which one of them is having an open and honest and a transparent way of engaging with the community and trying to improve it, to leave it better than the way you found it. So as a customer experience enthusiast, I did find this platform as a platform that is going to give me a chance to improve my community and leave it better than the way I find it. In the world customer experience games, I appreciate the creativity, the innovation that is showcased by participants. It's truly inspiring, Rod, and it's life-changing. Like what my predecessor speakers from the Latin version were putting together and explaining, it's always something that challenges my mind to find people from different backgrounds, professional upbringing, and even thinking patterns, teaming up together for a common goal to transform the way things are done. I can tell you, customer experience always changes lifestyles. Customer experience always changes the way people gauge and are able to make judgments in making decisions. For example, when I was a player, I valued the collaborative environment, the chance to learn from others. The games provide a platform where professionals can come together, they share ideas, they push the boundaries of customer experience to another level to transform these charities. It's a brilliant idea from the founders of our customer experience game that we can play a crucial role in fostering innovation, in sharing knowledge, in networking at the same time as professionals within the CX field. They create space where individuals from different backgrounds, from different industries can come together, bring their ideas and the best practices, and you have first-hand impact for participating and have individuals, organizations being inspired and strive to have continuous improvement. That's what inspired me, Rod, and that's what has been carrying me within the customer experience games.
Oh, and Benson, you at the beginning you were a player, and then you became a judge, right? If I remember well.
Yes.
How was that journey? What is the point of view from both sides? Where's the difference? What motivates? What do you see that you already had the experience from both sides?
Yeah, it has been an incredible journey, Rod. As a player, I was driven by desire to learn and grow. As a judge, associating with the likes of Professor Close, I'm now driven by the opportunity to give back and empower others. One thing I've seen, which is common from the both sides, is you have continuous inspiring innovation. You experience growth from the both sides. I have seen more diverse participations, creative solutions, lasting impact, as well as the desire to bring out the best. You know, within that short space of time that the competition ran, I've seen a lot of a collaborative spirit, which also did shift my mindset as well to be able to be acting in the best interest of others, the best interest of our clients, the best interest of partners, and it brings out the best in you as a human being. You know, it's a social way of bringing happiness, bringing empathy from the tables to the streets. You know, you have people bringing out what they have imbibed and showing their commitment to transform communities. Both roles, to me, they've enriched me. I can't say I am the same way that I was when I joined the Customer World Experience Games. My desire or my wish is maybe see these games being adopted in the experience world as a way of transforming communities and imparting the values, because the journey is transformational and the approach is holistic. There is a lot to do with adding value in whatever perspective that you are. So at the end of the day, we are like a puzzle that is being joined to form or to bring out that big picture of customer experience transforming lives.
And if you could describe the CX World Games experience, like being player judge, in one word, one phrase, what will it be?
To me, it's transformative. Why? Allow me to use the allegory of the word thrive. T representing transformation, and H bringing out holistic, and R being responsive, I being innovative, and V standing for value, and the E in experience. I would use the acronym Thrive that way. With customer experience games, everything transforms, and in the end of the day, everyone thrives. That's how we can sum it up.
Totally amazing, Benson. Thank you very much. And do you have some wish for the future of the customer experience world games? What do you expect? What do you wish itself for the world games in the future?
Let me say, with the nature of the customer experience games being inclusive, it brings together professionals from various backgrounds and experiences, fostering a sense of belonging and collaboration. So we need to maintain this community, which encourages open dialogue while embracing different perspectives. This would actually make us a better world. I'm eager to continue my involvement in the future customer experience world games and contribute to the global CX community. The experience is incredibly rewarding for me, and I look forward to continue seeing the customer experience world games growing from one level to another.
Okay, that's very insightful, Benson. And well, I think this movement that started 5 years ago is still growing, and well, we are going to be beyond the business, and hopefully that to making an impact in more lives. We are in more than 45 countries. I think it was the last stat that we were looking. So hopefully we are going to achieve soon the 100 countries at least. And well, are you going to participate in the next edition of the World?
Absolutely. I look forward to continue participating in the customer world experience games. The benefits have been incredibly rewarding, especially looking at the way I have grown and matured both as a player and as a judge. And, from this part of the world, I'm happy. Can I say I'm glad I saw that you and Christopher, you are pushing as well that the games might also come to Africa and being inclusive, such that we have Central Africa and Southern region and Eastern Africa being part of them. I really appreciate that. Count me in the future experiences, and I'm happy to be sharing my insight and my experiences with everyone who will be participating in each and every coming future customer experience games event.
Thank you very much, Benson. Just one thing that I was forgetting. Well, you have been in the World Games as a player, as a judge, and well, there's a community that we have. We have a community on WhatsApp. For those that are listening, if you want to join, just sign up in there. We have that. There is a link in the comments. But if you describe the CX World Games community also in one word, one phrase, what it will be for you?
Oh, sorry, I said transformative. Transformative.
Transformative. Sorry. I think I missed that part. Well,
Benson, I would have been the one who added more information when I gave you the acronym from the word thrive, where I said T stands for transformation.
The T is transformative.
Holistic, responsive, innovation, and value and experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to you, Benson. You're an amazing person. You have been with us in the Customer Experience World Games since the beginning, and looking forward to keep the collaboration and to expand the Customer Experience World Games in other regions, like in Africa also. Well, there's this expectation, and we are going to be working possible in the future in that. And well, any one last word that you would like to say, to share with the participants of the CX4Good event, Benson?
My last word will be, I'm inviting those that are willing or that are eager to participate on these platforms, so that they can experience this inclusive community, the experience, the transformative, and the innovation, so that we promote a customer-centric culture, driving growth and excellence in our social lives and in our industry, so that we also feel the impact and make our world a better place. Maybe I do believe that one day in the future, the customer experience world games might even have an impact in improving, in some nations, the, what do we call it, the happiness ratings. We have the happiness ratings just this previous week. I look forward to this transformative platform being able to improve people's perspective to life and people's ability to handle each other with empathy. If there is something that we are lacking in our world today, is courtesy and empathy. And I believe the customer experience world games can bring back the courtesy and empathy that is becoming a scarce commodity in our trading lives today.
That's a really good desire, and hopefully it will happen in the future. We have that wish also. Thank you very much, Benson. Thank you very much for this time, for being with us in the CX4Good event, and hope to see you soon in the next World Games edition.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone behind the scenes, for having me. It has been a pleasure.
Have a nice day, Benson. See you. Okay, after having an amazing experience, that was shared by Benson, he a former player and former judge from the Customer Experience World Games. I bring a little bit of the agenda that we have for the next and we have the speakers. It is coming Laura, the head of customer experience at RSPCA, and Gitana from customer experience, customer towards customers from Lithuania. So don't miss the stay, because we still have a lot of good things to share, to spread the word about the customer experience with the social impact that the customer experience have. And also at the end, we are going to announce the date of the Customer Experience World Games Global Edition, so don't miss it. Let me see if I can bring already Laura. Laura, you are in the backstage. I saw you, but where are you here? Let me introduce an amazing person. Laura Chalmers, the head of customer experience at the RSPCA. Welcome. Thank you very much for being with us in the CX4Good, Laura.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Are you happy for me to just take over?
Yes. If you want, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. To echo Benson's comments a moment ago, it is so lovely to be here and to be with Christopher and the Lexington team, but also to share the stage with so many fantastic people. It's actually a bit of an honor to me. I'm kind of geeking out a little bit at having a slot on the same show as Neil from the NHS blood transplant group. I first met Christopher and many of the Lexington team actually via a CX book club, where the NHS blood transplant service is cited as a fantastic example of how to use customer experience and to do it very well in that space. And so to be here kind of hearing more about that, it's great. And if I wasn't an advocate of it before, I certainly am after hearing about the banana loaf and Jamaican rum cake. So you only continue to go higher in my estimations. But to sort of start by introducing myself, I'm similar to Neil, actually, didn't begin my career in the not-for-profit charity third sector. I actually began it in luxury retail. So I think it would be fair to say the term customer experience and probably the concept of customer experience is certainly talked about more widely and familiarly than I think it is in the charity space still to this day. And although we'd probably all on this call acknowledge that familiarity with the term and sort of an emphasis on discussing customer experience doesn't always translate to it doing it well or it being easy, it certainly still feels slightly newer in the charity space, is probably what I'd start out by saying. And after nearly a decade working in the luxury retail space, I moved out of that sector and into the not-for-profit field. So I worked at a government-funded arm's length body here in the UK that had been set up to support young people in developing life skills. So I was with them for 6.5 years. CX was a bit of a new concept for them as well. So my role was new there as the first one to do the head of customer experience role at that company. And similarly at the RSPCA, I moved on. And so I have been here for just over 2 years. And for those of you who are not familiar with the RSPCA, I'm conscious we have a global audience here. The RSPCA, the acronym, stands for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So we are the oldest animal welfare charity. We had our 200th birthday last year, so we have been around for some time. And our vision is really a world where all animals are respected and are treated with kindness and compassion. So our mission is to ensure that all animals have a good life, and we do that through rescue, through care, through advocacy, and through inspiring compassion. So our ambition is large. We are looking to influence humans, the world, globally, in what they do and how they do it in relation to animal care and animal welfare. And to that end, really, the line you will see most familiarly associated with us is really to inspire everyone to create a better world for every animal. So the ambition is bold. And to be honest, when Christopher got in touch a few weeks ago and asked me to share our story of sort of making a difference with customer experience, it felt very humbling. And I sort of immediately felt the need to make a bit of a disclaimer, which I'll start with here, which is that we are on a journey. And I think many of us who work in the CX space probably feel that, can probably empathize with that. And sometimes, in some areas, we're still very much at the beginning of that journey. In other areas, we've made a little bit more progress. So Christopher asked me if I would come along today and just talk a little bit about what we have been doing, perhaps touch on some of the challenges that we faced, and how, in this wider concept of how do we use CX for social good. And I think really there's sort of 3 key points that I wanted to share about what we've been doing, how we're using CX at the RSPCA. And the first one centers around actually just determining who our customer is. So when I joined, and still to this day, we have a lot of debate around animal versus human as a customer, because we exist to improve animal welfare. Animals are the beneficiaries of our work. And my experience is not in animal welfare, it's in human customer experience. So there's a lot of debate around how do we balance, is one more important than the other? How do those two customer groups interact, if you will? So, and there's a really interesting lens, because some of the cases that we deal with at the RSPCA are very much a direct result of human action or inaction sometimes. And that can be intentional or it can be unintentional. And so, starting conversations around human customer experience and emphasizing the importance of the human experience in situations where perhaps they could be argued to be part of the challenge. That's tricky. It's led to some really great open discussions around that. And we very much acknowledge that both animals and humans can be customers. And actually the link between the two is critical. So as I say, my expertise and my comfort zone is very much more in the realm of the human experience, but I'm very privileged to sit on many working groups internally where we have vets, frontline operation, animal welfare teams, and be involved in their projects that are primarily focused on the animal voice and the animal experience and the animal journey. We actually have an entire transformation work stream called the animal journey. So really nice kind of synchronicity between the animal and the human experience element there. And I'm there to very much bring the human element to the animal lens. And using customer experience really, and the concept of every interaction being an opportunity to make an impression, to elicit the right kind of emotions rather than the less desirable emotions, and to build support has really across the RSPCA just broadened our understanding and acceptance of who we see customers as being and their importance to us. And I think what we've got to at this point is really a great alignment, and rather than focusing on human customer experience as potentially being seen as detracting or deflecting from the animal experience, it's actually very much seen to complement it, which is a great kind of foundational point to have achieved, I think, in order to move forward with focus on the human experience. And that moves me very much to my second point, which is linked in a way, and that's that customer experiences has helped us to introduce a common language that very much enables us to see how, whilst day-to-day and projects may look very different to across different teams, to different roles, we can all be working towards the same customer experience goals. So about 8 months ago, we decided as a CX team to introduce a framework. It has 6 emotional drivers. Some of you will be familiar with different frameworks across the CX space. And essentially, when you focus on those drivers, collectively, you enable a sort of real bond to be built with your customers. And we introduced it via workshops, and we started very much from the basics. So we talked to people about what is customer experience. We also talked to them about what it's not. We talked about how do we define, to my earlier point, how do we define what we mean by the term customer and who are they? And we gave people this framework that provided them with a language to articulate how their work contributes to our customers' experience. And it very much leveled the playing field in terms of how everybody's work is important to what we're trying to achieve, to what we're trying to do. And to sort of give you an example of that, we have inspectors. There are frontline operational teams. They would be on the ground. They will turn up to assess animals. They are, they're the front line of what we do. And we then perhaps have a fundraiser. So they are looking at how do we interact with customers to very much generate income, to engage their support. And those day-to-day roles look very different. But when people have the shared language of our emotional pillars, so for example, they're both doing projects that focus on making things easy or building trust or fixing things for customers, all of those principles that we know are really core to CX. Whilst you might be executing those in a very different way, nevertheless, you are actually focusing on the same drivers, and therefore your work, your commitment, is very much rolling up into the customer experience that we are delivering overall. And that's been invaluable really to us, having that shared language, because as you would expect, it starts to break down silos. It starts to help people understand not only what customer experience means to them, but what it means to us more broadly. And then the third piece that I just really wanted to talk about was kind of senior and cross-functional buy-in. And I quite actively call out both senior and cross-functional, because I think so often if I go to conferences or seminars or webinars, there's a lot of talk around senior buy-in, senior sponsorship. And of course, it's absolutely critical. But I think what's equally critical is that you have buy-in cross-functionally across teams from all different roles in the society. And that's really because if you actually want to deliver the improvements, the support and the engagement and the buy-in has to be more widespread than just senior engagement. Clearly, the RSPCA made a conscious decision to invest in customer experience. They hired me. We also have another couple of people in the team, but a kind of complementary conscious decision that we've made is that the solution is not for us to hire an army of customer experience professionals who sort of do the customer experience well for the wider teams, or arguably instead of the wider teams. And a little bit to my previous point, we all have a role to play in it. So actually, if we just hired this centralized team who did bits and everything else continued as it previously had, our progress is not going to be as great as our aspiration and our ambition for it is. So what we're really looking to do is make systemic change from the ground up, so into all areas of the RSPCA society. And in reality, that's a really big job. We're 200 years old. It's a big ship to steer, certainly when you want to slightly change direction or bring in new concepts. So I'm also conscious it's not a challenge that's exclusive to the RSPCA. Systemic change, I think, is hard in any sector. But I do think it's certainly one we're actively conscious of. So I think some added complexity comes from the fact that customer experience is not as familiar a concept in the charity, not-for-profit third sector as perhaps it is in some others. Certainly that's been my experience. As I mentioned at the start, I began my career in retail, and it feels fairly safe to say that, without wanting to give too much away about my age, when I was in there, sort of 15 to 20 years ago, it certainly felt like we were talking about it much more comfortably, much more openly. There was more awareness of it. So we are now starting to see that in the CX space, but I think it feels safe to say, and Neil very much alluded to it in his presentation, that traditional transactional value exchange environment, I think CX is discussed more widely there and debated there than here. And perhaps an additional, or perhaps a way of demonstrating that, is very much around the language that we use, not just at the RSPCA, but in the charity sector as a whole. So very often I see and I hear and I talk to colleagues and peers in my network about the term supporter experience. So that's certainly more prevalent than customer experience, I have found, and it tends to focus on experience with a specific product. I also hear the term user experience referred to quite a lot. That tends to be more to refer to specific channels. So those two feel a lot more common. But I am starting to see that roles in customer experience and roles focused on customer experience, so very much that end-to-end piece and the emotions that are driven by every interaction. I'm starting to see that change, and I'm starting to see those come into the sector, which is fantastic, particularly when you then know about the Customer Experience World Games, who are already advocating that message and narrative around the role CX can play in doing good. And sort of to that end, the best practice sharing, the lessons learned from others and brought from other fields, the advice is invaluable to a charity. Again, to Neil's point, the CX principles very much remain the same across sectors. I guess what we are hyper conscious of as a charity is that engaging with us very often has a strong ethical, moral, emotional basis for customers. So those traditional value exchange relationships where I give you money and receive this product, they're not immediately translatable here. customers I've found since moving into the sector, they very often feel a really integral part of a charity's purpose, and would very much, I think, articulate themselves as being part of the cause, part of the solution, rather than an outsider. And sometimes that poses really novel challenges from a customer experience perspective. Arguably not least of which, there's some irony around focusing on customer experience when customers may not actually identify as a customer, even in the broadest sense. Perhaps collaborator is a word I've heard used recently, because actually, you know, there is no line delineating a customer from anyone else, and the label in itself therefore becomes a bit of a question mark. And I guess now I've managed to sort of successfully talk myself into a bit of a cerebral conundrum around the very use of the term customer. I should probably just conclude and really just to wrap it up, I guess. CX has really started to change how we look at things at the RSPCA. Hugely helped by being a beneficiary of the CX4Good games, actually, where we were at a point we had a lot that we wanted to do, and they very much provided us, all the teams who contributed provided us with a list of things that validated some of our own internal thinking and also broadened it. And I think the three ways, if I was to summarize what I've sort of, the progress I think we've made, is clarity over who our customers are and what that term means to us, actually. The framework with the shared language to help us align our work and achieve common CX goals. And then finally, a new way of looking at how we can focus on the human experience to increase support for our cause and to help us achieve our mission and our ambitions for animals. So that's very much all from me. If anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, you're very welcome to, or if you are more of a reflector. Oh, we have a mini edition with Rodrigo's team who are welcome to ask. Then please do reach out to me via LinkedIn or get in touch with Christopher and the team, and they can get in touch with me as well. Very happy to answer any questions or talk more about it at people's convenience.
Thank you very much, Laura. If somebody have some questions, you can type it in the chat, or as Laura said, it can be contact through the team or directly to her on LinkedIn. And I think in the customer experience space is different, but it's something good. It's something that is making good in the charity sector. So that's really insightful, and looking forward to see the change that in the future can generate, especially for the RSPCA. Laura, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for being part of the CX4Good Games family. I have one comment from Christopher that I want to show in the screen. Thank you for an amazing, honest, and insightful presentation on your journey. So proud that the customer experience World Games have been a small part of this.
Me too.
Looking forward to see you soon, Lara, and the global edition will wait for you, maybe.
It may well do. Take care, Rodrigo.
Take care. Have a nice day, Lara. Okay. Well, we are arriving to almost the end of the CX4Good event, but it's one of the most amazing experience that I had the last year. In person, the customer experience in person in Lithuania. So for that, I will introduce you, Gitana, from that she has been the one that lead this amazing experience that took place in December last year. So welcome, Gitana. Over to you. You are the star.
Thank you. Thank you, Rodrigo. Yeah, you raised the expectations of participants by saying this. But hello, everyone. And labas to Lithuanians. I know that there are people from Towards customer team members and so on joining. So today I will share the experience of CX4Good games in person. But before that, I want to say a few words about myself. I'm independent CX consultant, board member of 4-6 management area in public sector, also CX mentor. And quite big part of my day and week goes to CX Association Clientelink. In English, we call it Towards Customer. So we are from Lithuania. It's quite small country. And before I go to CX4Good games in person, I want to explain what Towards Customer is and why we decided to go for in-person version of CX games. So Towards Customer is association in Lithuania. We count already 3 years, quite young organization, and we have raised objectives to increase awareness of CX in our market, to help business by implementing CX. Also develop CX professionals and promote the real collaboration between CX people. Why we decided to go face-to-face? Because all our activities in association are face-to-face. As I mentioned, Lithuania is a small country. We count less than 3 million people in the country, and maybe it's a luxury that we could have and can have these meetings in person, face-to-face. And usually we meet once per quarter, have some presentations, speakers, discussions on CX topics. We celebrate CX Day together every year. We have some excursions on networking events, visit each other companies, joining together some local CX conferences. And also we had last year in December on-site CX4Good games. And why we have it like face-to-face? Because we think that it's like deeper connections. When we meet together, it creates stronger sense of belonging. As I say here on the slide, you cannot avoid hugs when you meet your peers and friends in CX. It's more engaging, more energizing, more creativity around, a lot of memorable moments, photos. Of course, we create more of trust in our community. And for example, by sharing some knowledge and so on, sometimes it's like, oh my God, can I say it? Or is it like for internal use? But, we really grow together, and it makes absolutely the best thing. And last year, I accidentally, I would say, joined the CX4Good games. I was like really curious what's going on here, and I really liked the approach, online approach, because it's global. You can meet people from different countries. It's really hands-on problem solving, real solutions, real problems, and so on. And you really create real value for charity organizations. And then I talked to my team in Towards Customer, like, do we want to bring this approach to Lithuania? and everybody was very happy to try. And then we contacted Christopher and Rodrigo, and you are amazing. You helped us a lot to implement this. You shared your knowledge, your methodology. You helped with the communication, registrations, and so on. So it was really, really nice collaboration. And we got 45 CX professionals from Lithuania in this event. And also there was one charity organization from Lithuania called Jaunimo Linija, or Line of Youth for Youth, who raised the challenge about donors' experience and how we can improve. So I will not repeat all the methodology and so on, what it means to have CX4Good games, because it was explained by Piotr from Poland and guys from Latin. But I will mention that everybody who was participating in the event, they got really huge benefits. And first of all, charity organization Jaunimo Linija, they support emotionally young people, and they were preparing and presenting the challenge live, like joining this event, and also had some Q&A sessions during the event. So participants, they got a lot of insights, what's going wrong or what could be improved and so on. And then the charity got a really good opportunity to network, to know new people, to increase awareness of the need for donations, because it is like emotional support. You can call to them and get support, but you never think that you can donate to this organization. So it was good chance to see another side of this charity organization and another needs. And of course, they got number of proposed solutions, and also we invited to join our association to build this knowledge of experience management further. So we had 5 teams. In each team, we had 7 players. It's a bit different from online. It's smaller team. And usually they were members of our association, but also like other people joining our group. And they worked in the teams for 2 hours and created solutions and presented these solutions in the room. Of course, it was really a good chance to network, to have deep discussions, to have like learning by doing, and also giving time to charity. Not only time, but also seeks knowledge. I think it is the main thing what you can bring to charity in this event. And I was joking that because it was December before Christmas, you can earn some karma points. So we had 4 judges, selected 6 professionals from our association, from university. We had Asta, who continues with this CX4Good games in university this year. And also Christopher joined as a judge. So we evaluated these presentations and solutions based on the same criteria what was in global games, like problem solving. Do you solve right problem? And is the solution realistic? And also there were winners announced. So again, being the judge, you had networking, mentorship possibilities, learning from others, giving time to charity, and having really nice time. And as I mentioned, this event was organized by 5 people from Towards Customer and CX4Good Games. Thank you, Milda, Sandra, for really helping us. So yeah, organization or arrangement of such event is the same as other events. You need to plan, communicate, you need to have registration, arrange venue, maybe some coffee for the breaks, and facilitate the event, and also send some information after the event. So quite a lot of things. But if you will be interested to have a face-to-face version, I think Christopher or Rodrigo can share a script of our event, what should happen when. So, and of course, it is big benefit for us organizers, for Towards Customer, because we built a strong CX community, even stronger. We promote global CX games in Lithuania, and vice versa. We promote Towards Customer in global community. So it's win-win-win-win situation. Everybody was happy. And if I can compare like on-site and online and on-site versions, there are some differences, because for online version, you have almost 4 weeks or 2 weeks per one organization. Here we have 4 hours event, not all day, but just 4 hours event. In online version, you have a written presentation of challenge. You read and try to understand. When in on-site, we had presentation from employees from this organization. We had possibility to ask questions and have more insights. Online, you need to be creative, and it's really nice to brainstorm in Miro, for example, or have online discussions. But there are some challenges, because teams are really big. At least last year, it was really big team online. Time difference, you need to cover all world, and of course somebody will sleep at that time. I didn't mention, but language issues also could appear when you do it on site. Of course, you have native language, you have deep discussions, networking, sharing the knowledge, and so on. So also presentations in on-site is done live. You can listen, you can ask some questions. When online, you send the description of solutions, so it's a bit different approach. And then of course, not only giving solutions in written online, but also getting feedback or knowing that you are a winner is also a bit like detached from real feeling what you have on site. When you see the eyes of a charity organization, when they really take your proposals and value it, and have some follow-up discussions afterwards, and so on. So it's really more sensitive, more closer to the heart, and so on. But we had this luxury because we have community who meets every quarter, and we are a small country, and it's easy to have these gatherings on site. So, but I really wish you to try it. It's really worth. And what's next? I really encourage everybody to join this future CX4Good Games, global ones. support CX initiatives and try this face-to-face version of CX games or some other like learning in the groups. So that's all from my side. I don't know, was it really too fast? Any questions?
It's a good time, and let's see if somebody have some questions, comments. Sorry. Sorry. Kids coming back from school. But there. Let's see the comments. There are no comments yet. Questionnaire. But where I don't speak Lithuanian, but hope that this can arrive also to the Lithuanian people. We are going to be sharing this recording, your experience also, Gitana, to those that weren't able to attend. And I think the collaboration in person is another an amazing experience that we had. It's, as you mentioned, deeper conversations. You don't have that problem. Well, we had that problem with language because we didn't speak Lithuanian, but I think the players can communicate all the ideas, and the brainstorming can go and flow directly. So thank you very much, Gitana, for being part of
thank you for the invite. And Rodrigo, you need to come this year to Lithuania because you had just 15 minutes to see Vilnius.
that was very funny, but only to see 15 minutes, not to see Vilnius, because I had my boss. But maybe I will try. Thank you very much, Gitana. And see, well, there is one comment from Chris that you were such a kind host and we'll love being with you in Lithuania. So also getting from Christopher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gitana, and look to see you soon and in the World Edition. Okay, well, with this, we almost are in at the end of the event. Christopher, has been a really nice summit. So very insightful conversations, different approaches, different experience, different sectors, and different countries. And to finalize, I would like to know if you want to say something about the World Games and some of the dates also.
Well, I would just like to say thank you to all our speakers today, to Matthias and Ailu, Piotr, Laura, Benson, Neil, and Gitana. I've heard things about the games. This is what I love about the games. It's the way in which people optimize it and get value from it goes beyond what we do. We are simply just a springboard for other goodness. And I love the Thrive acronym that Benson shared with us, but also just the how people feel grateful to be part of our games. It feels very uncomfortable. It should be the other way around, and we're glad to feel that we're making an impact or encouraging a mindset change for others. I'd also like to say thank you, Rodrigo. Obviously you're our chief of staff here at the Customer Experience World Games, and kind of grateful to Lexington to allowing us to put our time to making this happen. But the fact that we're all here, the fact that all these guests have come together is no accident. It's because you're committed to it as well. So thank you so much for your professionalism and for helping us bring this together. But I think I'll give you the privilege then of actually announcing the date of the 2025 World Games. You're on mute, of course. I know you're not now.
Sorry. Okay, well, the Customer Experience World Games, it will start on the 2nd of June, Monday, 2nd of June, we have the opening ceremony. Save the date. Registration process is going to be soon. There is a new website that is being built. It's still work in progress. So we are going to launch the new website and the registration process. But and the games are going to take place in all the month of June. So we are going to finish in the Monday. Well, is need to be confirmed, but the most probably is that is going to be on the Monday, 30th of June, the closing ceremony. So save the date and see you there. And I think with that, Christopher, we arrive at the end of the customer experience. Customer experience for good.
Yeah, I'd just like to remind everyone, the reason we do this is to help create a positive impact in society. And, up until now, we've helped 29 charities in different ways. People like Laura was sharing how they've helped it. And I was really emotionally touched by Ailu's story. I didn't realize that had happened. So it's wonderful to hear it. But this year, we potentially will help another 10. So over the course of 5 years, we've helped 30. And in 1 year, we'll help 10. And it will grow and grow and grow from that point onwards. So thank you, everyone, in whatever shape or form you get involved in the games. Everyone who brings their time and their talent, maybe an hour, maybe 10 hours, maybe more. And in whatever capacity, as a player, as a judge. I have an incredible steerco. You should call out, I hope I don't forget anyone, Heidi, Neil, Santha, Piotra, Matthias, Rodrigo, and myself. Thank you, everyone who's a part of our steerco, because you keep us guided and making sure that we're still relevant and creating value. So as long as everyone rocks up and wants to be a part of this and can see the value of helping others, then we'll continue to do it. So thank you so much for joining today, and hopefully see you at one of the games or maybe at the 3rd summit. Back to you, Rodrigo. That's me signed off. And you are on mute, of course. This is a common
so, sorry.
Okay.
Common thing. Sorry. Well, I will say we cannot say let the game begin, but we can say let's wait for the games begin in June.
That's good. Good way to
see you.
See you, everybody. Thank you very much for